now let us quickly look at what is invoicing, subsequent debits and subsequent credits. We look at the subsequent debits first. This happens when the vendor, subsequent debits happens when the vendor has sent the invoice, but he has forgotten to actually add the proper delivery costs. Say for example, he has underquoted the price or something like that. So the actual price for this quantity, the reason why it's called debit is that the vendor has debited our customer account in his book, because we are created as a customer in the vendor's book. So all the sales by the vendor to us will be debited in our customer account in their books. So when the customer account balance, which is on debit side, is increased, it means that our liability to the vendor increase. That's why it's called debit. This debit is with reference to the vendor's own debiting to our customer account on his books. So same thing goes to credit. If our customer account with the vendor is reduced for some reason, so they will issue us a credit, subsequent credit note. So it will be regarded as a correction to reduce our owing to the vendor. Okay, one important thing to remember is that when we post subsequent debits or subsequent credits, there will not be any quantity update in the material. That's the reason we have subsequent debits and subsequent credits, because subsequent debits and subsequent credits are done on the invoice total value and not on the invoice quantity value. So that's the advantage of subsequent debits and subsequent credit. Because you may want to ask that if your intention is to do a subsequent credit to our customer account with the vendor, why not we just use the credit note option here in the Miro, because that's what I taught you in the earlier topic here, how to post a reversal of invoices or purchase returns, not reversal of invoices, purchases returns. This is what the credit memo is all about. But when we post the purchase return using a credit note, using the credit note in the Miro, our material quantity inventory value will be adjusted. It involves a quantity, so you can't do it without adjusting the invoice quantity. So in this case, we don't want to actually disturb the invoice quantity. What we want to do is just to actually update the invoice total value and not the quantity. This can happen when there is a error made in the price. For example, just think about it. Once you have invoiced this, if the vendor realizes that the actual price for this unit is $60, not 50, so he cannot issue another invoice to you, because if he issues another invoice to you, it will be posted as a Miro here using the invoice option here. Then the quantity will be updated as well. The 6 unit will be double counted into earlier invoice which has been posted. So this will become a problem. The reason we have 2 additional options here. One is to post subsequent debit and the other one is to post subsequent credit. So we look at the subsequent debit first now. Let's say the invoice is underpriced by $50. So the actual price is $60. Let us do that now. So if its actual price $60, so we need to times the $10 with 6 unit, $60 has to be posted as subsequent debit. So let us do that now. So go to Miro and okay, I'll continue this with part 2 tomorrow. I'll end this topic at part 1 now for subsequent debit.